What's up, Bama Insider Nation? Trey Hannity here to break down the next position group for Alabama football as we get set to start 2022. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Help us grow our channel. You don't know how much a like goes. Getting to 500 would mean a whole lot. And as we talk about the defensive line today, that guy right there, Phil Mathis, meant a whole lot. The Alabama defensive front will be losing Mathis along with LeBron Ray to the NFL draft. Those two really brought the veteran leadership in 2021, but now Alabama turns the page to 2022, which is where we start with Byron Young. Young now at 6'3", 292, originally from Laurel, Mississippi, will now be a fourth-year player with this team and the veteran experience that this line needs. In 2019, he developed in a rotational role up front, had 23 tackles that season and 1.5 for loss. In 2020, the COVID year, we really saw his role increase. He had 29 tackles, 6.5 went for loss, for negative 18 yards, and added 1 sack to that and a fumble recovery. He was selected as the Defensive Player of the Week twice in that season, setting him up for a big 2021, where the opportunity was there. He started in 7 games and made appearances in all 15. He totaled 39 tackles, including 9 for loss, and 2 sacks, along with a pair of quarterback hurries. I start with Byron Young, like I've started a lot of these videos, talking about a veteran leader. Byron Young's going to be that in 2022. I think he's going to lead this group. He's going to have help up the middle with guys like Henry To'oTo'o, and of course the edge rush for Alabama is going to be great as well. But as far as his defensive line goes, he's going to have to be the leader. Now that there's no Phil, now that there's no LeBron, I think Byron Young can step up to the task. Excited to see what he does in 2022. So moving along to another guy that's had some experience and a guy that I think is maybe the most slept on player on the entire team, DJ Dale. Dale listed at 6'3", 300 pounds, another 3-year player for Alabama football. And when you talk about experience, this is a guy that was called on to start from the jump. He earned that starting role back in 2019 and started 10 games, missing the final 3 games of the year with a lower body injury. That season he had 17 tackles and 3 for loss, but was still kind of flying under the radar heading into 2020. He returned with full health in his sophomore season and had 22 tackles, including 1 for loss and 2 pass breakups, along with a fumble recovery. Heading into 2021, the hype started to build a bit as he recorded 18 tackles, 4 for loss, added 2 sacks, and a quarterback pressure. He was selected as a preseason Nagurski Trophy watch list as one of the best defensive linemen in the country. He was named the Defensive Player of the Week for his play against Texas A&M this past season, and we really saw this line step up in general as the season went on. DJ Dale, some media availabilities down the stretch for the college football playoff, for the national title. Love how cool, calm, and collected this guy is. Defense is going to need that. Maybe some yin and yang, Byron Young, can bring down the hammer, but DJ Dale, that cool veteran leader that this defensive line is going to love to have for this season. 2 more veterans I want to talk about before we move on to some younger guys on the team and some guys coming into the program as well. But the next veteran, Tim Smith. Tim Smith at 6'4", 308 pounds. He has now been with the program for 2 seasons and really excelled in practice in that rookie campaign to earn a significant role as the season went on. He had 14 tackles, 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hurry, and last season, he expanded his minutes. He played in all 15 games and had 2 starts, 24 tackles, 4 for loss, and half a sack. Tim Smith is a physical player, but still incredibly athletic, really leverages with his size. I think he's going to start maybe every game this season. As we look at this position group, somewhat of a rotational one like others, I think Tim Smith is one of the guys you see in that rotation more than not and will probably be named a starter at the beginning of the season. Justin Aboigbe next up on our list, 6'5", 285. He is heading into his 4th season with the Crimson Tide as well. 2019, he played 10 games. He had 2 starts. Really didn't make too much of an impact, but got his name out there at least. In 2020, he contributed all along the front. He had 19 tackles and half a tackle for loss, 3 quarterback hurries, and picked off a pass with a return of 4 yards. In 2021, he really made himself more of a presence. He recorded 19 tackles, including half a sack, 2 pass breakups, and a pair of quarterback hurries. He had 2 fumble recoveries as well. Just seemed like he was all over the field this past year. Very mobile defensive lineman, another guy that uses his size very well. One of the smaller defensive linemen on this team, a guy I think is going to continue to see his minutes increase. Maybe not a starter right away, but a guy that's going to be heavy in this rotation. Now we talk about the youngsters already on the team. Jah-Marien Latham is the first guy I want to talk about. 6'3", 278, very similar build to Justin Eboigbe, but still yet to get his opportunity. He's now headed into his third season. In 2020, provided some depth, didn't record any stats in that season though, didn't really make an impact. In 2021, put together a very strong spring and fall camp in year 2, and earned snaps along the defensive front in 4 different games. He did have national championship experience this past season. This is a guy that I think has continued to improve. Another smaller style defensive lineman, a guy that I think really, like I said, hasn't gotten his chance yet, but a guy that could this season. Another in-state kid, one that I'd like to see have some success. The only current freshman in the group I'm going to talk about today, Montrell Godwin, listed at 6'4", 291 pounds. This is another guy that really hasn't had his chance yet. And for Alabama, in 2021, it was about LeBron Ray. It was about Phil Mathis, some of these other guys I've mentioned like Tim Smith and DJ Dale. The Montrell Godwins of the world didn't really get their chance. He had a rotational role and played against Southern Miss and New Mexico State. But as far as Montrell Godwin, we're still just looking at the high school tape and really referencing what we knew about him coming into the program. I would love to see Montrell Godwin this year. He's only continued to grow physically since he's been at Alabama. At 6'4", 291 already, I like his projectability. Winning in the trenches is really the only thing that matters sometimes, which is why winning with depth has been Alabama's formula for success. 6'4", 298 pounds, Raylan Ingram is another depth piece. Didn't see any action this past season. In 2021, in 2020, did get some playing time in Kentucky and Mississippi State. But like his first season in 2019, he's just been gaining the experience. He worked in 2 games in that 2019 season as well, redshirted the season at its end, and like these other guys, still hasn't really gotten his chance yet. I think we're going to see all these guys I've mentioned today in the rotation at some point or another. Raylan Ingram, definitely flying under the radar. This is a guy we're going to have to wait and see on. I don't think he's going to get his chance before a guy like Montrell Godwin or maybe Latham or some of these other guys I've mentioned, but another great depth piece to have for the defensive line. The last rostered player I want to talk about today before we get to the youngsters is Jamal Burrows. 6'3", 312, this is a big dude. True sophomore as well. In 2020, he excelled in practice. Really heard a lot of great things about this guy. Played in 6 different games and just provided more depth for that Alabama front. He had 5 tackles in his first season. And in 2021, we saw a bit of a decrease, just 2 tackles, but a sack as well in 3 games of action. Burrows, Ingram, Godwin, these are all big depth pieces for Alabama, and who knows who comes out of this group looking better than the rest. Somebody's going to have to earn that starting spot out of the gate. Could be Jamal Burrows, could be Montrell Godwin, or Raylan Ingram as well, but these guys certainly at this point looking to be depth pieces, and just really some solid depth options for the Crimson Tide. Now on to the youngsters. Some guys that may get their chance this season with the way that Alabama's going to rotate their defensive line. Got to start with Curtis Perry. He is a strong side defensive end, listed on Rivals.com at 6'2", 268 pounds. As you watch the tape here, guys, you just tell how quick, how athletic, how aggressive he is. The next guy I'm going to talk about, Jaheim Otis, is a big dude. Curtis Perry isn't quite as big, but he uses his size perfectly and is incredibly athletic. Excited to see what he can do. Listed as the number 10 strong side defensive end in the country, the number 5 player out of Alabama, and the number 108 player in the nation. Let's move it on to Jaheim Otis now, another 4-star, listed on Rivals.com at 6'6", 348. If you ask Andrew Bone, that might be even a little light at this point. He's rated as the number 97 player in the country, the number 6 defensive tackle, and the number 3 player in the state of Mississippi. Recruited heavily by Pete Golding and Freddie Roach, this is a big get, literally for Alabama, and a guy that I think will play right away. He can't teach size, and this dude is very athletic with his size. Not a sloppy big, he's not a slow big, he's an athletic big, and I think that's what we're going to see right away. Nick Saban loves players like this, and Freddie Roach, of course, love to have a guy in his system as well, like Jaheim Otis. Our final player I'm going to talk about today, guy that may not get his chance right away, but will certainly be there for depth, Isaiah Hastings. Rated as a 4-star, the number 245 player in the country, the number 15 defensive tackle, and the number 34 player in the state of Florida. Listed at 6'5", 291, kind of finds his size in the middle. I think Alabama can grow him a little bit. Really interested to see where Isaiah Hastings kind of fits into this mold of defensive line now. Another guy recruited heavily by Freddie Roach. He decided a little bit later to join up with the Crimson Tide, but I think it's a great decision, as Alabama is going to give some opportunity to these guys, in-depth roles if nothing else. So we look at this group. Right now, Freddie Roach is scheduled to make his return. I love Freddie Roach. I think he's one of the best coaches on this team. I think he's going to lead this defensive line well, yet again here in 2022. Guys, for more information on the defensive line and all things Alabama football, be sure to hit that like button for me. Keep getting this video to 500, and guys, go to BamaInsider.com. Check out the big board from Andrew Bone. Be sure to get in those forums, guys, and get in the comments section on our YouTube end as well. Let us know what you think about some of these guys. For BamaInsider.com, my name is Trey Yanity. The defensive line looking to be a brick wall in 2022. I think it starts with some of that veteran leadership, like DJ Dale, like Byron Young, mixed with great depth, like you see in some of these youngsters, Jaheim Otis. Until next time, everybody, have a great weekend. Roll Tide.